Welcome back to The Hub.
And welcome to Nicole. I'm sure it's going to be another very busy year for the EV Foundation.
Yes, it is. If it's only half as busy as it was last year, it'll be amazing.
Even if it's half as busy, it's going to be really busy, don't I imagine? Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, there's so much to get through, I imagine. I mean, firstly, how was the Christmas period?
Crazy, as always.
Yeah.
Crazy, busy, fulfilling. And we reached out to all those families that we wanted to, over 200 families.
Wow.
So it ends up being like over 300 children.
Yeah.
So they get their gift vouchers, their food vouchers, and they have a really nice Christmas. They also attend the Christmas party that we have every year for them.
Right.
How did that go?
That's amazing. That is, when I was at that party, I actually said to someone that that party for me is the result of what I do. When I see that party and I see the kids with Santa Claus, the impact it has on them, I always think this is the result of the EV. This is for me. We do great things, but the party really, really defines what we do and the impact we have, because it's little children. We're not talking about adults. We're talking about 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 10, 12-year-olds. And when they see Santa Claus coming out, it's like,
makes it all work.
When Santa Claus was about to leave, they were like hugging him, and one of them said, "Santa, I love you," and it was like, so we're very grateful, and we're very grateful to the donators. There's a lot of people that actually donate towards that party. So, and if it would have been for them, it wouldn't be happening.
I mean, it just brings it all together, all your hard efforts. I imagine just seems all worthwhile when you're there watching your kids smile.
Exactly.
Isn't it,
That
really?
is, the party is what reflects the whole year's worth of work and hard work and sweat and angry days and stressful. It's non-stop. This is a job that has no weekends, or it's every case of any family is considered an emergency for them.
Yeah.
So they don't see it as a weekend, or it's a Friday evening, or it's summer. An
emergency is an emergency.
Emergency is an emergency for them. An emergency can be for them the fact that they have no boiler, or the fact that the fridge is broken, or they have no food, or so they need to seek that help.
And then this year, I say 2024, you weren't just helping in Gibraltar, because you've also been to Valencia, so you've spread yourself quite thin, I imagine, this 2024.
Yeah, well, the EV Foundation has always done international work, always. Throughout the 14 years, we have investors who invest in us to be able to have access to international needs. And when I saw what happened in Valencia, it was like I watched one of the programs, and it'd been going on for quite a while before I decided. And I watched, it was 1 a.m., I was watching a program, and I stood up and I said, I'm going to Valencia. And I'm like, I'm going. I put a post the next day, and 2 or 3 weeks later, we were there. It was a very fulfilling experience too.
You can see some images here now.
I know we had Carl Vallerino and Justin McNeese on a few weeks ago. I know you kind of went separately, but you worked together eventually.
We actually was really good, because when I got there the first day, I was going through all the towns. I had my contact who was taking me throughout Valencia. And I remember it was late at night, and we were in Algemesi, which is where Carl and Julian were. But I didn't know where they were. I didn't know what these places were called. And I remember thinking, looking at the place, everything looked the same. But I remember thinking, this looks like the place that I just saw Carl put a video a few hours ago. And I remember looking out for yellow number plates, because I was thinking, what if I see a Gibraltarian car? And suddenly, like 2 minutes later, I saw it. I jumped out of the car like if I'd seen Santa Claus myself. So it was like, it was really, really nice to see them.
And you're going back relatively soon?
We're going back in March, and we're doing a collaboration with them, with Maroc Atlas, Carl and Julian. And we're very excited. There's many things we have in mind, a few different plans. We have intentions of fixing parks and doing door-to-door work, which is what I did back then. And I think it's important. I always said that I went in November, and I always said that I would go back in around February, because I know that that is when you'll see the real aftermath of what really has happened.
Yeah.
When you went to the people's homes, everyone would tell you, I don't have a fridge, I don't have a washing machine. But some of them had already claimed it to insurances. So it would have been very silly of us to have bought them that when truly they could have got one. And some of them some people were not going to tell you that they were going to get one.
Yeah.
So we had neighbors telling us, be careful, because
Really?
they've claimed it. So that is where we learned that what we need to do is go back in February, give them some time to settle. And once they're settled, the doors that we knock and we see they have no fridge, those are the ones that haven't been able to claim. Those are the ones that they don't have insurance, which is many. And those are the ones we need to help.
Well, what's that like when you're in a place that's experienced such horrific catastrophe and there's still people trying to take advantage of the situation?
I think the human being is for me, it's not shocking. I've seen human beings do horrendous stuff. There's many people that do, and it doesn't come as a shock. I think desperation, I think there's people of all types, and they make the most of any catastrophe, and I think it happened locally when COVID hit. I know of many cases of people that were getting food hampers that didn't need them. I knew there was a lot of deliveries being delivered to people that didn't need them. And I had mothers and fathers at home who truly had no food, who had empty fridges, and they were getting no help. And then there were other groups of people getting a lot of help. I'm not going to target the groups who they are, because it's no fault to them. It's the fault of people who actually do the deliveries that they don't do. They don't find out if people truly need it. And I think there's a lot. I think it happens in every disaster. There's people who get away with a lot, and then there's others who are dismissed and not seen. And we saw that in Valencia too. We saw people coming up to us saying, we don't have this, and others would tell me, and that's a good thing with you. That's why it worked for us, because we were there ourselves. We weren't giving the money to anyone to do the job. I knew it very clearly. I knew the day I said I was going to Valencia, I knew it was me who was going to Valencia. I was not willing to give my money to anyone. I was going to be the one who was going to be knocking on doors, and I was going to meet the people and see them and see what needs they had. But the neighbors themselves, they are the ones who'll tell you, go up the first floor. She doesn't have any help. Or go up wherever, or go to the neighbor. And it's very good, because that's when you meet people. And I remember the day before we came back, we had like 4 microwaves left behind. And we were thinking, I can't come back to Jib with 4 microwaves. So I need to give them. And what happens is the moment they see you give a microwave to someone, suddenly people come from everywhere. You think this was empty. Suddenly there's 30 people here saying, I need a microwave. So you need to be very psychologically prepared for that, because you need to almost like play a game with them. And it was very much like, I would tell them, so how are you cooking food? And then they would tell me, oh, I've got an oven. And you think, she's got an oven. So she's out. She's not getting it. The next one, so how are you cooking food? You must be having a hard time. And they're like, yeah, I know, I don't have an oven. Really? And I said, but you must have a microwave. No, I don't have either. And bam, go to the boot.
Yeah.
She'll get the microwave. So it's very much like that. And also there were people who would tell me, I don't have a microwave. And I would say, do you live far? And they were like, no, I just live 2 minutes away. And I said, okay, I'll go
and have a look.
Let's go and have a look. And the person who would turn around and say, no, because I don't have my keys, or my husband has to open the door for me, and he's at work, or doing this, you think, no, that's a lie. Yeah. And the person who would tell you, which was many, yes, come home with me, I'll show you. We wouldn't even bother, we're just giving the microwave. Yeah. So you got to be, you got to test the seas, and you got to play a bit of a psychological, but I think this comes from many years of being around people
it sounds like you have the experience,
that try to sometimes, and in many occasions, emotionally manipulate you. And I can see emotional manipulation from a mile.
You've seen it enough times to be able to...
Well, that's what my job is. Yeah. It's my job. And some people tend to do that when some people are used to that, and some people know that that works. But you need to reassure that what they're telling you is true. But sometimes the easy way out is just to give people what they are telling you they need. Yeah. And it's more complicated to do your homework, to do your research. It definitely is. It definitely is for me. I spend weeks doing interventions, research, speaking with schools, speaking with families, speaking with social services. It's easier for me to just hand in whatever they're asking for. Yeah. But then that's when you do the job wrongly.
What 2025, I mean, talking about so much work that you've done, what's your calendar looking like now for 2025?
Our calendar is always the same. as busy. We don't really have a plan for whatever, because we don't know what's going to come up. We didn't know Valencia was going to happen. We didn't expect COVID to happen when it happened. So we don't know, God forbid, anything crazy happens. But what I do know is what we've done in 2023-24, because we've done now an impact report where we've seen everything we've done, and it's impactful to read that report. It's shocking. It's very impressive, because even I do the job myself, I don't even know. I didn't even know I did those things, because there's numbers, there's statistics.
Yeah.
And so, for example, I was just telling Justine outside, we spent £100,000 in 2 years in the empowerment scheme, which is creating job opportunities for people. £100,000. That's a lot of money. So they had in 321 opportunities to earn money. That's created by us. This is invented, in inverted commas, invented jobs that is created by us so that people and families have the right to earn their money. So then we have the well-being scheme, and we spent £10,000. Food vouchers, we gave £90,000. That's excluding Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas, we give like £60,000.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. The appliances and home improvements, which is very important for the child, for the families to have a safe and healthy, comfortable home. A home where you can bring your friends and your peers and not feel embarrassed, not feel shameful. And more important, you need to be safe at home. So we're fixing homes. We spent £60,000. We make 100 visits a year to fix homes. So there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work. A lot.
Do you feel like the situation is improving in Gibraltar over the years that you've been doing it, or how's it going in your eyes?
What I feel and think, that the EV is an asset. It's needed. The EV can never be removed. It can never stop doing what it does.
Yeah.
It is needed, and it will always be needed. Because unfortunately, there's new generations of children.
Yeah.
And low income. So long as the cost of living remains the same, we're going to continue to have this problem. And I understand that benefits cannot radically be changed from one day to the other, or if not, we would be promoting people not to work and just live off benefits, which is what happens in the UK. We need to promote that people need to work, need to earn their money, and I'm the first one. I'm like adamant, and that is why I am so keen on my empowerment scheme, because I want people to work. I've been working since I've been 15. I want you to work. Simple. Yeah, you need to earn your money, and I like to work with this kind of groups of people because they want to work, which is sometimes people have this wrong image that they don't want to. They just want freebies, and honestly, I don't get a lot of that. I get mostly people asking for help because they want to change. Yes, we do get people who abuse. That happens everywhere. Yes, we do get people that want freebies, and yes, we do get people that don't want to change, because this is something that I have very clear. Not everyone wants to change. Not everyone.
Yeah.
Most people want to change, but not everyone. The ones that don't want to change are the ones that we need to leave on the side and say, okay, thank you, next one. Because they don't want to change. Because we have the tools. We provide them with those tools to change. And they don't want it. They don't use them. They don't make the most of our services. Those are the people that maybe at that precise moment, they don't. For whatever reason, they're not ready to change. They might change in a few years' time, but not then. So we need to move on, because there's hundreds of other people.
Yeah, a lot of people.
There's hundreds of other people with their hands up saying, please, I need that opportunity. And not everyone is willing to give them opportunities, and we are.
Yeah. Well, Nicole, it's always great to have you on the show. It's
Again,
unbelievable what you do all the time. I think the phrase tireless efforts has never been more appropriate, no? And then going some after that, I think. So, yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'm sure
Very short though, eh?
Yeah.
We'll be here for like hours.
No, you definitely could.
Yeah, we could. We
I
could.
don't understand, 10 minutes is like nothing.
We'll bring you back on soon.
Like,
We'll bring
We'll
you
have to
back
have
on
you,
soon.
definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Right now, a couple of Oscar-nominated blockbusters on the agenda in this week's What to Watch. Let's find out what Michael is saying about them.